Hello everyone, my name is Wilberto Garcia and today I will presenting Kantian ethics and prostitution, an analysis using the categorical imperative. In this presentation I will explain how Kant's deontological ethics applies to prostitution using the three formulations of the categorical imperative. The universal law formulation, the humanity as an end formulation, and the kingdom of end formulations. First, I will briefly explain Kantian ethics and the categorical imperative. Then I will apply the three formulations to the issue of prostitution. And finally, I will conclude with overall moral evaluation from Kantian perspective. What is prostitution? Ethical framing. Prostitution is generally defined as the exchange of sexual services for money or goods. From an ethical perspective, the debate focuses on several important issues, including autonomy, the commodification of the body, and the risk of exploitation. Kantian ethics does not judge actions mainly by their consequences or outcomes. Instead, Kant evaluates whether the action follows a moral principle that could be considered universal valid. Universal law formulation. One of the Kant's most important principles is the universal law formulation. Kant states, act only according to the maxims whereby you can will to become a universal law. In simple terms, this means we should ask, what would happen if everyone acted this way? According to Kant, if a behavior cannot reasonably be universalized without contradiction or harm to moral order, then the action is morally wrong. Humanity as an end formulation. The second formulation says, treat humanity, whether it is yourself or others, always as an end and never merely as a means. This means that every person has intrinsic moral worth and dignity. People should never be reduced to tools. People should never be reduced to tools, objects, or instruments for someone else's benefit. Kant believed that human beings observe, respect. Kant believed that human beings deserve respect because they are rational and autonomous individuals. Kingdom of ends formulations. The third formulation is called the kingdom of ends. Kant says we should act as is called the kingdom of ends. Kant says we should act as we were members of the universal moral community where everyone follows rational moral laws. In this ideal moral society, people create and follow laws that respect everyone equally. The question becomes, would rational people agree to this behavior as a moral rule for society? Kingdom of ends applies. When applying this formulation to prostitution, we ask, do rational individuals accept prostitution as a universal moral law? From the Kantian perspective, several problems may arise. There can be unequal power relationships, economic pressure, coercion, and the treatment of the human body is a commodity. Because of this concern, Kant would likely argue that prostitution is difficult to justify as universally accepted moral law. Autonomy consideration. Kant strongly valued autonomy and free will. However, autonomy does not mean that every personal choice is automatically morally acceptable. Even when consent exists, can believe actions must still respect moral law and human dignity. So, from this perspective, consent alone might not be enough to make prostitution morally permissible. Ethical evaluation summary. To summarize, under the universal law formulation, prostitution might be problematic because universalizing is it could be undermine respect for persons. Under the humanity as an end formulation, prostitution risks threatening individuals as means rather than the ends in themselves. Under the kingdom of ends formulation, under the kingdom of ends formulations, it might fail to meet the standards of a rational and morally equal society. Overall, in a strict Kantian interpretation, prostitution would generally be considered morally impermissible.